Welcome back, and this is our next video in the series How to Discover Your Purpose. I am Buddha's Jumesi from Wisdom for Dominion, and in this video we are looking at the third step which you're to do, the third thing you're to do to discover your purpose. A quick recap: we've already seen that you have to look at your strengths, your features, your potentials, and your abilities as the first step. And the second step, we saw that you have to look within, to spend time meditating and reflecting on your core values, your core principles, what you want really out of life, and also meditating on scripture that would reflect to you the value in which your creator put in you. So the third step to discovering your purpose is that you need to look around you and identify the problems that irritate you in the world. What problems irritate you in the world? Remember, you were born to solve a problem. Remember, there was a need in this time, in this age, that made your creation and my creation necessary. So we don't just exist for the sake of existing, but we are here for a specific purpose, and we must identify that purpose. And one of the ways to do so is to identify the problems that irritate you in the world. Remember, in the beginning I told you that for the most part, the world is in chaos because many people failed to fulfill their purposes, and they took their gifts and all what they brought to deliver to the world back to the grave. So you don't want to disappoint the next generation. So that's why you need to go through this step. Of course, there are many problems that the world is facing, from health epidemics to hunger and poverty and crime and all these things. There are a lot to deal with, but you need to identify the problems that irritate you. You know, the world may have many problems, but there are some which you take personally. There are some which you feel very angry about. There are some which you feel very offended about. You see, some people, when they hear the case of a rape, they are just like they should tear the offender into pieces, whereas some people may just feel sorrowful and then it ends there. They want to solve the problem and help as they can, but another person takes it very personal. Some people find the case of poverty something as a thorn in their flesh which they must do something about. This is the case when you see many people in history like Mandela, Corrie ten Boom, Martin Luther King Jr., and even if you go back as far back in history, Moses, Nehemiah, Gideon, these people saw a problem in their time which they took it personal. It irritated them and it became their problem, even though it didn't concern them in any way, but just because it was a burning passion in their heart, it was a burden in their heart, a need they could find their purpose and their role which they were to play to help humanity, and they played it. So what irritates you about the world? What are the problems you see the world facing? Which particular one do you really feel you really want to solve? If you had the magic bean or the magic potion to solve one of the world's problem, or one of your community's problem, one of your family's problem, one of your environment's problem, your country's problem, which one would you really want to solve? Which one would you really want? Which area in your country do you really want to see ameliorate with all passion, with all zeal? Even if you're not getting paid, appreciated, or rewarded for it, you just want to see it fixed. That's all what drives you. People have different levels of tolerance for different things. One key criteria that is common with humans is that we are very adaptable, so we can easily adapt under unfavorable conditions, but there are some whom are not very designed to adapt for some certain conditions because the solution to changing that situation is in them. Like Rosa Parks, it gets to that point where everybody is complying, everybody is tolerating, everybody is trying to endure, but you just feel like I can't take this anymore. So you see Moses killing an Egyptian witch to help a brother for which it doesn't even concern him. He's living a luxury life, he's comfortable, but this thing of this problem is a thorn in his flesh and he just can't find sleep without having to see it solved. So you need to be able to make a list of all the notable problems around you in your community, wherever you are, the things you've noticed, and you start identifying which of them you can directly solve, which of them is really really like a thorn in your flesh that you want to get it off at all costs. So the worksheet helps you with making a list and penning down all these various problems and the kind of skills and values that you naturally have, because you need to be able to now come to the point where you match the natural gifts that you have and the skills that you have acquired or you wish to acquire, as you see in the worksheet, to the various problems you've identified, particularly the ones which really irritate you, because your gift has to just fit in to solve that problem. You're not going to create a solution somewhere. Remember, you came with a solution. You are the solution. It is in you. So you are the key to unlock that door. So you just need to match your key pattern to the various locks. Each of those problems are like locks. So you are the solution. Those are the problems. You need to be able to identify which of your gifts easily fit in to solve which of those problems. So you kind of narrow down the path in which you're to take a little bit more in that 360-degree compass that we saw. Now, note that your purpose is what claims your life, because it's your reason for existence. Once you accomplish it, you can almost say there's no reason again to be alive, because you have done what you came to do. It is finished. You have run the race. You've kept the faith. So you have to bear in mind that when it comes to this point, your purpose may be something which you have to give your life for it, because you may not be back after solving that problem. I was very inspired by the story of Corrie ten Boom and her sister in particular, and how they gave themselves to see how a whole race or generation could be rescued from the tyranny of their season. So when you identify people like Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, these are people that came to the point where they were willing to die for the cause. They were willing to die to see the problem solved, because they couldn't live under those conditions. So it gets to the point where you say, I can't take it anymore. I just can't let this be again. Someone has to do something about this, and that someone is you. Remember Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote where he says, if a man has not discovered something which he is willing to die for, he is not fit to live. So we are not out to look for something that we are to live for or to make a living, but we are out to look for a cause, something which we are to die for, which we are to give ourselves wholly to it, that at the end we can say it is finished. Remember the first century writer Apostle Paul said he has been poured out as a drink offering. So your purpose will drain you out, because it's actually removing that juice in you like an orange, so that it can satisfy the need and the problem in your generation. However, this is not to scare you, but it's fun. There is fulfillment in it. There is joy in having yourself sacrificed for the cause for which you were born for, and there is total utmost satisfaction in it. And people from outside may not really understand, why would this person leave their comfort and travel thousands of miles to go and help people in sickness or people in poverty or all this. But there is that fulfillment and there is that drive, and that's what makes sense out of the whole confusion and mess of life. So this is the third step when it comes to fulfilling your purpose. Ponder on it, make a list, identify those things. The worksheets could help you, but you need to identify the problem which you really want to see solved in your generation, how you want the world to look after you're gone, after it is finished. So thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. In our next video, we're going to be looking at the next step. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. And if you're just joining in, check the video description for the links to everything, the previous videos, materials, and all of that. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.